favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion
No,
changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard
but
that you want.
The upcoming super middleweight clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September in Las Vegas, has the boxing world buzzing with anticipation. This mega fight pits two of the sport's biggest names against each other, each bringing a unique blend of skill, experience, and mindset to the ring. Opinions are split on who will emerge victorious, with analysts, fighters, and fans weighing in on the matchup. Crawford, the pound-for-pound king, is moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Alvarez, the unified super middleweight champion and a 4-division title holder. The contrast in their styles, physical attributes, and career trajectories makes this a compelling contest, with debates raging over whether Crawford's technical brilliance can overcome Alvarez's size, power, and experience at 168 pounds. Crawford, at 37, is coming off a hard-fought unanimous decision victory over Israil Madrimov in August 2024, claiming the WBA super welterweight title at 154 pounds. This marked his first fight in the division, and while he won, some critics noted that he looked less dominant than in his previous outings at 147 and 140 pounds. His performance against Madrimov, where he absorbed more punches than usual, has fueled skepticism about his ability to handle Alvarez, who is a natural super middleweight with a proven track record at higher weights. Crawford, however, remains unfazed. He's no stranger to defying odds, having started his career at 137 pounds and becoming undisputed champion at both lightweight and welterweight. His confidence is palpable, and those who've spent time around him describe an unshakable belief in his ability to win, regardless of the weight class. Alvarez, 34, is a seasoned veteran with a resume that includes titles at 154, 160, 168, and 175 pounds. His only losses in a 66-fight career came against Floyd Mayweather in 2013 and Dmitry Bivol in 2022, both at higher weights. With a record of 61-2, Alvarez has faced a who's who of boxing, from Gennady Golovkin to Sergey Kovalev. His experience at super middleweight, where he's 10-0, makes him the favorite, especially given his physical advantages. Alvarez is known for his devastating counterpunching, ability to absorb punishment, and relentless pressure. However, Crawford supporters argue that his ring IQ, speed, and adaptability could neutralize Alvarez's power. The weight difference is a central talking point. Crawford, who recently posted a photo of himself at 186 pounds before laughing and clarifying he was actually 140 pounds, will need to bulk up to compete at 168 pounds. Alvarez, who began his career at 139 pounds but has fought as high as light heavyweight, is naturally bigger and stronger. Critics like Sergey Kovalev, who lost to Alvarez in 2019, believe the extra weight will slow Crawford down, making him less effective. Kovalev, who sparred with both fighters, acknowledges Crawford's skill but emphasizes that the 14-pound jump could be a deciding factor. He recalls his own struggles at heavier weights, noting that moving up to 200 pounds made him feel sluggish, a sentiment he believes Crawford might experience. Despite the size disadvantage, Crawford's camp is optimistic. His ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw stances, combined with his pinpoint timing and counterattacking, draws comparisons to legends like Sugar Ray Robinson. Legendary commentator Jim Lampley, speaking to Chris Mannix, described Crawford as the most violent force in boxing, praising his performance against Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, where he dismantled a top welterweight to become undisputed at 147 pounds. Lampley believes Crawford's multi-dimensional skill set, defensive prowess, offensive versatility, and a mean streak makes him a unique challenge, even for Alvarez. However, Lampley also noted that Alvarez's growth since his loss to Mayweather, particularly in counterpunching and durability, makes him a formidable opponent. Crawford's mindset is a recurring theme in discussions about the fight. Unlike many of Alvarez's opponents, who some believe enter the ring intimidated, Crawford exudes confidence. Jose Benavidez Sr., who faced Crawford in 2018 and suffered a brutal knockout, told Fight Hub TV that Crawford's high boxing IQ and fearlessness set him apart. Benavidez, whose son David was bypassed for a shot at Alvarez, picks Crawford to win, citing his ability to adjust mid-fight and exploit opponents' weaknesses. He believes fighters often lose to Alvarez before the bell rings due to mental intimidation, but Crawford won't fall into that trap. He's going in there to win, Benavidez said, emphasizing Crawford's refusal to be overawed by Alvarez's reputation. The physical tale of the tape adds another layer of intrigue. Crawford, at 5'8" with a 74-inch reach, has a slight height advantage and a 4-inch reach edge over Alvarez, who stands at 5'7.5" with a 70-inch reach. While these measurements suggest Crawford can keep Alvarez at bay with his jab and movement, Alvarez's compact frame and ability to close distance could negate this advantage. Crawford's relative lack of wear and tear, having fought 25 fewer bouts and 263 fewer rounds than Alvarez, might also play a role, especially in the later rounds. Alvarez, however, has proven his durability, rarely showing signs of fatigue even in grueling fights. Analysts are divided on how the fight will unfold. Teddy Atlas, a legendary trainer turned analyst, told Fight Hub TV he struggles to bet against Crawford. Very few people have the appetite for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does, Atlas said, highlighting Crawford's continuous improvement and hunger. He acknowledges Alvarez's size and punching power, but believes Crawford's game plan will force Alvarez to rely on his physicality rather than skill. Atlas suggests Crawford will use his speed and angles to make Alvarez use his size, potentially exposing gaps in his defense. Barry McGuigan, a former world champion, also leans toward Crawford, though he cautions that Crawford must avoid a trench war with Alvarez. McGuigan advises Crawford to stay elusive, darting in and out of range to avoid Alvarez's power shots. He believes Crawford's timing and counterpunching could frustrate Alvarez, who thrives when opponents trade punches with him. McGuigan's analysis underscores the stylistic clash, Crawford's precision and mobility versus Alvarez's pressure and power. If Crawford can dictate the pace and avoid prolonged exchanges, he could outpoint Alvarez over 12 rounds. Tim Bradley, another former champion, has been vocal in urging Alvarez to take the fight, arguing it's the biggest bout in boxing. Bradley dismisses concerns about the weight difference, pointing out that Alvarez started his career at 147 pounds and isn't a natural 168-pounder. He believes Crawford's technique, particularly his ability to smother, tie up, and rough up opponents, will neutralize Alvarez's size advantage. Bradley argues that Alvarez's last knockout was in 2021 against Caleb Plant, suggesting his power may not be as decisive as fans expect. Technique usually wins, Bradley said, predicting Crawford could outsmart Alvarez. Not everyone shares this optimism. Some point to Crawford's lackluster performance against Madrimov as evidence that he's reached his limit moving up in weight. Fans and analysts noted that Crawford, now 37, looks slower and less dominant, eating more punches than usual. Timothy Bradley's take has drawn backlash from fans who believe Crawford is too small and elderly to compete at 168 pounds. Kovalev echoed this sentiment, questioning how Crawford will handle the physicality of a bigger opponent. Alvarez's ability to walk opponents down and land heavy shots could overwhelm Crawford, especially if the fight becomes a war of attrition. Crawford, however, dismisses the naysayers. In an interview with The Ring, he emphasized that he's not focused on knocking out Alvarez, but on outboxing him. "I don't have to stop him. I just have to beat him," Crawford said, acknowledging that a knockout is possible but not his primary goal. He believes his speed and sharpness, honed in lower weight classes, will allow him to evade Alvarez's power and land clean shots. Crawford also pointed out Alvarez's loss to Bivol at 175 pounds, noting that moving up in weight didn't work out for Alvarez either. "He's human just like me. He bleeds just like me," Crawford said, rejecting the notion that Alvarez is invincible. The betting odds reflect the challenge Crawford faces. For the first time in his 17-year career, he's the underdog, with Alvarez favored due to his size and experience at super middleweight. The weight jump is significant. Crawford has fought just once at 154 pounds, and moving to 168 pounds is a tall order. Alvarez camp, while respectful of Crawford's skills, believes the size difference will be too much. Alvarez has dismissed talk of Crawford's pound-for-pound status, insisting he's still the best in the sport. "There's a 21-pound gap there," Alvarez said, questioning whether Crawford can handle the super middleweight limit. The fight's appeal lies in its unpredictability. Crawford's ability to adapt and problem-solve in the ring makes him a dangerous opponent, even against a bigger man. His performance against Spence, where he systematically broke down a highly skilled welterweight, showcased his ability to dominate through intelligence and precision. Alvarez, however, is a different beast. His combination of power, durability, and experience makes him a nightmare for any opponent, especially one moving up in weight. If Alvarez can close the distance and land his signature body shots, he could wear Crawford down. Conversely, if Crawford can use his footwork and angles to frustrate Alvarez, he might outpoint him over 12 rounds.